I'm real bad about spur of the moment type things. I get an idea and I just run with it immediately without thinking it through properly. And I remember one particular occasion when I was 8 years old, out in our barn and whatever, and I had been watching something on TV or something, either a cowboy movie or police, something. And anyway, this dude jumps out of the top of this building and jumps on this other bad guy, and wrestles him to the ground, and, beats him up. I'm thinking, hey, that is a great idea. And I'm out in the barn playing, doing whatever. And my oldest brother comes walking through the barn. I'm up in the loft, which was about, it was probably wasn't 10 feet, maybe 9 feet high. Pretty good thing. I'm 8 years old, so that's a long time, it's a long way. So I'm watching him. He doesn't know I'm up there. And I'm watching him come walk through the hall of our barn. And toward the end, the loft stops, and there's this little area before you get to the end of the barn. So I'm sitting there waiting. And he emerges there and starts to go outside. And I take off running and jump. And in my mind, I was going to tackle him and, rough him up a little bit, and then it'd be over, be a joke. Well, it was a great idea until I actually left the floor and was in the air. And I realized at that point how tremendously high that actually was. It was a long way. And then I'm kind of, your brain can move really fast if it has to. And so on the way down, I'm doing these calculations about, how am I going to land, how am I going to get him, whatever. My brother he was 6 years older than me, so at the time, I guess he's, 14, 15, pretty good sized guy. I came down on him, and I weighed nothing. I was a little guy. It never even fazed him, But I came down right on his shoulder with my ribs. Cracked my ribs. And couldn't talk. Knocked all that breath out of me. And so it just immediately went south. I'm sitting there, you make that funny feeling, that funny sound. You ever done that? Where you and he's like, get off of me. And I'm going, I just excruciating pain, He just kind of whips me around. I'll fall on the ground, which is even more painful. Broken ribs, I'm sitting there, It was just a terrible, terrible thing. Meanwhile, my other brother is laughing hysterically. He thinks this is the funniest thing he's ever seen. So I had to limp home, and then I had to explain the whole ordeal to my mom. It was not very good. But suffice it to say, and I was out. That also ended my baseball career, by the way. And that's when I first started playing baseball. And by that time, I was out for several weeks. When I got back, I didn't know how to do anything, so I was embarrassed, so I quit. I digress. Lots of implications to a really stupid decision. Just quick, you're going to go with it, Didn't think things through real well. And I still remember that. There's a lot of other things that happened subsequent to that. I'll have to tell you some of that later. It's funny too. And I've got a long list of that kind of thing. Where you get an idea, you just go with it. Whatever seems good at the time. And that's not always the best course of action. All through the Bible we see that because the Bible is a story, it's a book about people. There's people in it. Wherever you have people, you got these kind of split decisions, these kind of harebrained ideas that people don't think through properly. And I venture to say that probably everybody in here has had at least one of those experiences, and probably hundreds, where you do something spur of the moment without being patient, without thinking it through and using some wisdom. There were several examples that I thought of just right off the top of my head. I thought about Saul. Saul was waiting to go into battle, and he needed to have a sacrifice done by the priest. He's waiting on Samuel. Samuel won't show up. And he said, I just do it myself. That's a no-no. And so he performed the sacrifice. And Samuel walks up and says, man, you're in trouble now. And so that was the reason that God took the throne away from Saul. He wouldn't wait. Think about Abraham. God promised Abraham, hey, I'm going to make you a great nation. You're going to have a child. All these blessings and all that. He didn't wait. He had a good idea. So I'll just help God along. It don't seem to be making any progress there. And so he had another child through his handmaiden, through his wife sent me. We're still suffering from that today. The Middle East conflict is in large part due to that sin, that impatience. Jephthah. I know y'all know the story of Jephthah. He was a judge, and God helped him win a big battle. And so he's coming home and thinking, man, he's feeling great. He is praising God. And he says, oh, man, God, you are awesome. Matter of fact, the next thing I see when I get home, first thing that comes out of my house, I'm going to sacrifice it to you. I promise. And he gets home, and his daughter comes out. You know, just acting without thinking. And you see this over and over and over in Scripture. Now, Mr. Black laughs at me because I tend to relate everything to the book of James, whether it's in there or not. I know it's in there. I love the book of James. It's my favorite. And I attribute everything to James. But this one is in James, Mr. Black, actually. This is in James 1:19. This you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For the anger of man does not achieve the righteousness of God. Quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to get angry. I wonder how many times I've made a bad decision because I got irritated or got angry or got upset and said or did something stupid. I tell you this, I won't say never, because I probably, much fewer instances occur when I've done something stupid if I take my time and think about it. You know what I'm saying? Quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to get angry. Now I wonder why that's so important. Well, think about it. We say things sometimes without thinking them through. You know, the first thing that pops into our brains is the first thing out of our mouth. We get irritated, we get angry about something, and we lash out immediately. And we can get ourselves into situations just like my stupid idea there, you know, pops into your head. It's like, well, hey, this would be a good thing to do. This is a good way to react. This is a good solution to this problem. I think I'll go forward with this without giving time to pray about it and think about it and asking the question, what does God's Word say about this? That verse says, be quick to hear. Sometimes when we're in a situation, we don't hear what the other person is saying, or we don't hear what our friends are saying, or those that have good advice, or we don't hear what God's Word is saying. So He's giving us encouragement, be quick to hear. You know, there's the old saying, God gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth for a reason. Hear twice as much, see twice as much, and speak half as much. I'm still learning these lessons today. I'm getting a little better. Still mess up, but it's less frequently because I keep making the mistakes, and finally I'm figuring it out. And I'm learning that when something is before you, when you have a conflict or an issue that is out there, whether it's a situation or a conflict with a person or whatever, it's important to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Think through your reaction. Think through the way that you're going to handle problems. That's some wise advice, because if you do that, if you stop and think through God's perspective on this, it always tempers things down a little bit. It always can help provide you the wise course. James 1:5, again in James. You need wisdom, God will give you wisdom.